smells like they're cooking something nice for you guys. So this is going to be a very nice verse. These teachings are so deep of this nectar of instruction, but they're so concise at the same time. So, if you know these, chant along. Millions of obeisances unto Srila Prabhupada. Yesterday I wanted to kind of save it till today, but yesterday was his disappearance day, and naturally we, on the Avirbhav Mahotsava and the Tirabhav, Avirbhav means appeared, and Tirabhav means disappeared. So on those two festivals, we should especially pay significant attention to the personalities. And Srila Prabhupada disappearing, on one level, it's a great, there's a lot to mourn for Srila Prabhupada disappearing. Especially it may have been possible that he was able to give more time to the Western world, and who knows the possibilities. I mean, he'd already gotten the Beatles involved, and the Beatles were spreading Krishna consciousness everywhere. And if he had more time, who knows what could have happened. But everything played out the way it did. And Krishna always has a way of leaving some service for everybody. So even if Srila Prabhupada was here and did all the service and the whole world was Krishna consciousness, that would be wonderful for all the living entities of this world. But then, the process of bringing people to Krishna consciousness and lifting them out of the depths of ignorance, this is a process that's so purifying. And he's actually, by Krishna's arrangement, he was to leave when he was to leave. And actually, what we can celebrate is that he had transitioned to his eternal seva, that in the spiritual realm. That which we do sadhana for. We're practicing, many of us, hopefully, you're practicing some type of sadhana. Sadhana means what? It could be a service. It's practice, yes, you're closer with practice. Well, let's start with the sadhana is describing a sadhya. What's a sadhya? You all have many sadhyas. Michael?
It means to attain a goal.
Sadhana is a means to attain a goal. So sadhya is what? The goal. Sadhya is the goal. Sadhana is the practice or the means by which one attains that goal. We have all kinds of sadhanas and sadhyas in our life. But a spiritual sadhana is a practice in which we can attain a spiritual practice in which we can attain a spiritual goal. And what's the spiritual goal is actually what Ben said, to have spiritual service to the Supreme Lord. So this is ultimately our goal, and right now we're in the practice realm because we're not so used to, we've been conditioned for many lifetimes. We're not used to even acknowledging a spiritual realm, acknowledging the possibilities of God, acknowledging, trying to even see underneath the material contamination of our bodily senses and the material world around us, to even search for the spirit, the reality of spirit underlying all things. So we do some practices, like we chant the names of God, we study God's instructions, we hear about His pastimes, His qualities, we hear from His dear servants who more intimately know God, and we try and follow in their footsteps. And Srila Prabhupada is that dear servant from which ISKCON is founded on. So we try to follow in his footsteps and do that which is exceedingly pleasing to him. And if you really want to know him and serve him, Srila Prabhupada, he gave one simple request. Do you know what that was? How do you know Srila Prabhupada?
You read books?
Yeah, that's it. He said, if you want to know my heart, it's in my books. Please read my books. He didn't, it's not all he requested. He requested more than that. But that's one of the prime requests that he made, is just, if you want to please me, read my books and you'll know exactly how to do that. Because ultimately his books are going to describe how to please Krishna. And, what his gurus and the lineage of gurus from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who's the incarnation of Krishna in Kali Yuga, all the way up to Krishna himself. What is this process of devotional service? How do we actually do practical service? And how do we actually attain that goal, the sadhya, of achieving devotional service? Because right now we're trying to practice bhakti, but we're not really quite there. We're doing some beginning level sadhanas, sadhana bhakti, but actual prema bhakti, real full bhakti and pure love, without any taint of karma and jnana mixed with it. Yeah. Wow, we better pray that one day that comes. It's not easy. This is so rare. Krishna will make thousands upon thousands of people liberated, become mokshas, become completely free from material suffering before he'll give any real bhakti. So even we should be very delicate in proceeding, and we should not think this is so, Krishna will give so cheaply. And we chant the Damodarastakam. If you break down the Damodarastakam, Satyavrata Muni is actually praying to actually achieve bhakti, to actually be able to behold Krishna with his eyes and be able to actually render service to him in this way, face to face. This is actually the sadhya, the goal. But we're trying right now. We have our Nava Vaidhi Bhakti processes, the 9. The first 3 are what? Now in English, Ben.
Hearing, sharing.
Yes. You had the main 2 rules. Remembering. Yeah. So hearing, chanting or sharing, and remembering. These are the main 3. But there's Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, doing service to the feet of Krishna and the Vaishnavas. Archanam, maybe there's some deity worship, even offering of prasad. Vandanam, prayers. Dasyam, taking a mood of service to Krishna and service to Krishna's servants, his devotees. Sakyam, developing moods of friendship. And then Atma Nivedana, which means complete surrender of the soul to Krishna. These are the 9 processes of bhakti in which we can start. Sadhana bhakti. Now it gets to a whole new level on the Bhav Bhakti, the Prem Bhakti. I have not achieved these things, so I will not speak on them. But this is how we start our process. So actually, this is going to teach us how to get through the Sadhana Bhakti, and it's going to also take us, as we study this, all the way to the Bhav Bhakti. But I think the most appropriate thing we could do today is just read some of Srila Prabhupada's books and get enlightened by Srila Prabhupada. So, text, what? Yeah, I will do some appreciations. Vacha Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam. Give it a try. Jiva Vegam, Ururapasta Vegam. Etan Vegan, Yovishaheta Diraha. Sarvam Apimam, Pritibim Sa Shishya. Yes, nectar of instruction. Vacha, speech. Vegam, urge. Manasa, of the mind. Krodha, of anger. Vegam, urge. Jiva, of the tongue. Vegam, urge. Udarapastha, of the belly and genitals. Vegam, urge. Etan, these. Vegan, urges. Ya, whoever. Vishaheta, can tolerate. Diraha, sober. Sarvam, all. Api, certainly. Imam, this. Prithivim, world. Saha, that personality. Shishyat, can make disciples. Translation. A sober person.
This is first text, yeah?
First text. Repeat after me. A sober person. Who can tolerate the urge to speak. The mind's demands. The actions of anger. And the urges of the tongue. Belly and genitals. Is qualified to make disciples all over the world. So a sober person who can tolerate the urge to speak, the mind's demands, the actions of anger, and the urges of the tongue, belly, and genitals is qualified to make disciples all over the world. This is actually telling us who the guru is, what the guru looks like. They can tolerate the urge to... And Prabhupada will break it down even more. So look, in Srimad Bhagavatam 6.1, Canto 6, Chapter 1, verses 9 and 10, Parikshit Maharaj placed a number of intelligent questions before Shukadeva Goswami. This is Prabhupada's purport. One of these questions was, why do people undergo atonement if they cannot control their senses? For instance, a thief may know perfectly well that he may be arrested for his stealing, and he may actually even see a thief arrested by the police, yet he continues to steal. Experience is gathered by hearing and seeing. One who is less intelligent gathers experience by seeing, and one who is more intelligent gathers experience by hearing. When an intelligent person hears from the law books and shastras or scriptures that stealing is not good and hears that a thief is punished when arrested, he refrains from theft. A less intelligent person may first have to be arrested and punished for stealing to learn to stop stealing. I have some practical experience with this in my life. However, a rascal, a foolish man, may have the experience of both hearing and seeing and may even be punished, but still he continues to steal. Even if such a person atones and is punished by the government, he will again commit theft as soon as he comes out of jail. If punishment in jail is considered atonement, what is the benefit of such atonement? Thus Parikshit Maharaj inquired, Drishtashrutabhyam yat papam janannapyatmano hitam karoti bhuyo vivashaha prayashchitam athokatam kvachin nirvartate badrat kvachich charati tat punaha prayashchitam athopartham manye kunjara shochavat. me share this for you guys on the screen if you want to read. He compared atonement to an elephant's bathing. The elephant may take a very nice bath in the river, but as soon as it comes onto the bank, it throws dirt all over its body. What then is the value of its bathing? Similarly, many spiritual practitioners chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and at the same time commit many forbidden things, thinking that their chanting will counteract their offenses. What offense is this of the holy name? Thank you, Michael. Number 7 is what? Committing sinful activities on the strength of the holy name. So, of the 10 types of offenses one can commit while chanting the holy name of the Lord, this offense is called Namno Baladyasya Hi Papa Buddhi, committing sinful activities on the strength of chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Similarly, certain Christians go to church to confess their sins, thinking that confessing their sins before a priest and performing some penance will relieve them from the results of their weekly sins. As soon as Saturday is over and Sunday comes, they again begin their sinful activities, expecting to be forgiven the next Saturday. This kind of prayashchitta or atonement is condemned by Parikshit Maharaj. The most intelligent king of his time, Shukadeva Goswami, equally intelligent, as befitting the spiritual master of Maharaj Parikshit, answered the king and confirmed that his statement concerning atonement was correct. A sinful activity cannot be counteracted by a pious activity. Thus, real prayashchitta, atonement, is the awakening of our dormant Krishna consciousness. Real atonement involves coming to real knowledge, and for this there is a standard process. When one follows a regulated hygienic process, he does not fall sick. Actually, I'm having very practical experience of this. You guys maybe remember a few weeks ago, I had gotten like a mouth infection, and it was like really getting to be quite bad. And I had to follow like a diet and all kinds of hygienic processes to remove it. And actually it's on the way out, but I find if I just slip up a little bit on this hygienic process, it starts to come back and come back again. So we have to also do this with our spiritual life. We have all kinds of sadhanas that are recommended that we do. And if we just slip up on our sadhanas and don't really give it much time and attention, what's going to come back? The sickness of material illusion. And then we'll get more and more engrossed and more infected, and next thing you know, we're completely in the diseased condition. So this is our process here. We all have this material disease. So anyway, when one follows a regulated hygienic process, he does not fall sick. A human being is meant to be trained according to certain principles to revive his original knowledge. Such a methodical life is described as tapasya, or austerity. One can be gradually elevated to the standard of real knowledge, or Krishna consciousness, by practicing austerity and celibacy, or brahmacharya, by controlling the mind, by controlling the senses, by giving up one's possessions in charity, by being avowedly truthful, by keeping clean, and by practicing yoga asanas. However, if one is fortunate enough to get the association of a pure devotee, he can easily surpass all the practices for controlling the mind by the mystic yoga process, simply by following the regulative principles of Krishna consciousness. So refraining from illicit sex, meat eating, intoxication, and gambling. And by engaging in the service of the Supreme Lord under the direction of the bona fide spiritual master. This easy process is being recommended by Srila Rupa Goswami. So Prabhupada is showing, because actually the yoga processes are quite difficult. I don't know if you ever got a chance to practice the yoga processes. Before I found Krishna consciousness, that's what I did. I did lots of pranayama and meditation, yoga asana, all these things. Sometimes I'm still tempted to see if I can find time in doing them, but Krishna never gives me the time anymore to do them. Why? Because he wants me to do this other process that's recommended here. But, these are called the yamas and the niyamas, the do's and don'ts to practice a spiritual life. But actually, in the process of Krishna consciousness, 4 main rules are kind of given. Illicit sex. Illicit sex means sex outside of the confines of marriage. All forms of masturbation would also be considered this illicit sex. But ultimately, sex outside of the process for begetting Krishna-conscious children. So, pretty much it's no sex. And it's pretty much celibacy. Why? Because this is the most intoxicating material pleasure that's available in the world. So there's nothing more materially, you could say, attractive to the bodily consciousness of life, the bodily concept of life. And it's pretty much the utilization of two or more people's bodies in that way to pretty much have sense gratification. But this is not on the spiritual platform. This is on the bodily platform. So naturally, refraining from these illicit sex activities are the recommendation. Meat eating. This is mercy. We should develop mercy for other living entities. Not doing violence unto others, but especially not the animals, not unnecessarily. This is how we accrue very negative karma. This is like, all right, we'll chant Hare Krishna, no problem, but then if we go and harm many people in our chanting of Hare, harm many living entities, and we kill all kinds of animals, this, that, and the other, what's the point of our cleansing ourselves, taking a bath, and our chanting if we're just going to go and throw dirt on ourselves right after we get out of the bath? So meat eating. Intoxication. This verse said a sober person who can tolerate. You need to be sober. In order to clearly understand what you're doing in life, you must be sober. So I don't have too much worry for most of you in the room, but it's so important to be sober in life and to approach life for what it is and not try and intoxicate your mind for whatever reason or another. And then last is all kinds of gambling or dishonest means or dishonest earning and things like this. We should be very humble and honest in our dealings in life, and we should not try and take unnecessary risks. Like some of us, we might want to strike it big or put a huge risk. Maybe get greedy. I know like a lot when the cryptocurrency or Bitcoin was coming out, a lot of people were like, this is it. I think I see a huge victory, and they dumped all their money into the crypto coin. And next thing you know, eventually they lost all their money, So we shouldn't do like this. You do have to take calculated risks in the world. But especially not going to casinos and things like this. But gambling, the stock market, you have to be careful with all these things. So by living like a simple, honest, truthful life devoted to service to Krishna, you can actually avoid all of these things. And how do you do this? Is under the direction of a bona fide spiritual master. This is the Krishna conscious process. This isn't, alright, well I think you serve Krishna like this. Because actually in the conditioned state, we don't know how to serve Krishna. Someone who does know how to serve Krishna, they can teach us how to serve Krishna. So like, it's like, I don't know, let's say you want to serve, I don't know, Ben, who's your favorite musician? You don't know. Holly, who's your favorite musician?
He's John Prine.
John Pine.
Prine.
John Prine. So let's say Holly develops devotion to John Prine, and Holly wants to,
Oh, okay, we'll use the five then.
So Holly wants to serve Mr. John Prine. And Holly starts, you know what? I'm going to start making sweets for John Prine every day, and I'll mail them to him. And maybe he'll like the sweets. It's a nice sentiment Holly has. But what if John Prine is diabetic? And he keeps getting all these sweets in the mail, and Mr. John Prine can't utilize them because Holly doesn't know some of the intimate ways that John Prine needs and likes to be served. So, but if Holly meets maybe one of the associates of John Prine, and John Prine's...
Brother Friday night.
What's that?
I'll meet his brother Friday.
Alright, so if she meets his brother, I'm not saying you should go out and serve John Prine. I don't think John Prine's going to do anything... Okay. But anyway, just for the sake of the rhetorical thing, good. I'm not happy he's dead, but I'm happy that you're not going to develop a devotional service onto John Prine. But anyway, if she meets his brother as someone intimate to this person, she might be able to realize he's like, no, he actually needs this regimen. He actually likes to be served like this. And then she'll actually have a better idea of how to serve. And this is what the spiritual master is. The spiritual master is someone near and dear to Krishna, who knows very well what Krishna likes and how Krishna likes to be served. So we too should also, we should try and find such a person. We sing that song in the morning, Samsara dava nalalita loka, Tranaya karunya ganaganatvam. Come on, sing. Praptasya kalyana gunanavatya Vande Guru Shri Charanadavindam. So this whole song is the Gaurvastakam. It's 8 verses. Actually, there's 9 in there because there's a concluding verse. But we sing 8 verses every morning that describe the qualities of the spiritual master and what the spiritual master looks like. Actually, this verse is also describing the qualities of a spiritual master. And we should try and find such a person and take instructions from them. We can easily do that by reading the Shastras, because these are composed and presented by persons who are of that qualified nature. The commentaries of Srila Prabhupada and our Purvacharyas, these are all these types of persons, and they will help us recognize when we are maybe able to be so fortunate that that type of person appears in our life. And we can take proper instructions and we can serve that person and help that person who's a much more intimate servant of Krishna get closer to actual service to Krishna. So this is very much recommended. But let's continue reading. First, one must control his speaking power. Every one of us has the power of speech. As soon as we get an opportunity, we begin to speak. If we do not speak about Krishna consciousness, we speak about all sorts of nonsense. A toad in a field speaks by croaking, and similarly, everyone who has a tongue wants to speak, even if all he has to say is nonsense. All I think about it, me and my wife take walks around Barry Park sometimes, and we just passing people, and we're hearing what people are talking about. I'm like, what the heck is this? But this is what people do. They just want to yap and yap and yap and talk and talk and talk. But what do they want to talk about? Nonsense. They have nothing actually worth to talk about. So what's worth talking about if we want to actually be for our supreme benefit? What's worth talking about? Krishna's pastimes. But even before we even understand Krishna's pastimes, is what? Yes, this is very good. But ultimately we want to talk about the truth, the absolute truth. And what we end up realizing is what Meghna's saying, and the absolute truth is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the truth, more refined and more condensed into a sweeter and sweeter form, would take the form of his name, his form, his qualities, his pastimes, and so on. And it gets sweeter and sweeter and more condensed. But ultimately we want to speak of things that are actually eternal, sat, truthful. But when we speak of even the presidential election, or when we speak of sporting events or mundane movies or temporary situations in the material world, how to advance in career, how to advance in our relationships, how to advance in our money-making deals, or how to advance in school, this, that, and the other, really we're just speaking of things that are all subject to death and really are not eternal. So it's compared to a toad. And why? A toad in a field speaks by croaking, and similarly everyone who has a tongue wants to speak, even if all he has to say is nonsense. The croaking of the toad, however, simply invites the snake. Please come here and eat me. Nevertheless, although it is inviting death, the toad goes on croaking. The talking of materialistic men and impersonalist Mayavadi philosophers may be compared to the croaking of frogs. They are always speaking nonsense and thus inviting death to catch them. Controlling speech, however, does not mean self-imposed silence, the external process of mona. As Mayavadi philosophers think, silence may appear helpful for some time, but ultimately it proves a failure. The meaning of controlled speech conveyed by Srila Rupa Goswami advocates the positive process of what Meghna said. Krishna Katha, or Katha, engaging the speaking process in glorifying the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna. This is also Krishna Kirtan. The tongue can thus glorify the name, form, qualities, and pastimes of the Lord. The preacher of Krishna Katha is always beyond the clutches of death. This is the significance of controlling the urge to speak. Krishna actually confirms in the Bhagavad Gita that the one who is... What? You were mumbling something.
I thought you were reading. Your version's just a little different. So.
Okay, no. I'm not reading, I'm just explaining. Okay, so the speaker of Krishna Katha, the one who shares the secrets of Krishna's instructions with the devotee, this is the person most dear to Krishna. And if you read Bhagavad Gita, you'll know, oh, this is how I could be most dear to Krishna. You know, because we can come up with all kinds of ideas. Krishna will really like this. Krishna will really like that. Yes, he may. But you know what he'll really like? If you get to know him a little bit. And he tells you exactly what he likes. Well, I like when you do this, I like when you do that, and I like when you do this. You know, so this is actually the difference between karma yoga and bhakti yoga. Karma yoga is like, all right, I like to do this. My nature is to do this. I think someone's in there. There's a bathroom upstairs if you'd like to use it.
It's okay, I'll wait.
Oh, okay, no problem.
He might be a little bit because he's showering.
No.
But if you literally go up the stairs, it's
I
right
just
in
want
front.
to get rid of my tissue.
Oh.
Okay.
That's all.
In the garage, there's a garbage talika.
Thank you.
No problem. So Krishna, this is the difference between karma yoga and bhakti yoga. Karma yoga is taking your work and your activities and trying to offer the result to the Lord. No problem. So if you have some money, you have some job, if you have some nature or some worldly work you're doing, and you offer it to Krishna in some way or another. Maybe some of your money goes to the temple, maybe some of your money goes to supporting some local sadhus or sponsoring books or something like that, some type of service to Krishna. No problem. But bhakti yoga is very intimately trying to find out what does Krishna like and focusing on this thing. This is bhakti yoga. And doing that which Krishna likes. Now we may not be in a situation where we can do pure bhakti yoga. Actually, if we were doing pure bhakti yoga, we would be in ecstasy. But in the beginning process, we have to work through and work our way towards pure bhakti yoga. And there's a mix. It's called Mishra Bhakti. So in the beginning, maybe it's mixed. You know, we have some other work we do in our life, and we try and utilize that in Krishna's service. Even myself, I have some, now we're doing things with real estate and renting rooms and all these things, and I don't have the facility or the know-how right now or the guidance. My goodness. The know-how right now to actually do pure bhakti yoga. Are you okay?
Maybe next time, just not in the temple.
Yeah.
I'll try.
Yes, Kaushik. That's, it's actually a good habit if you go in private and do that. That's a very nice thing.
You have to do the next.
Yeah, just go, it's good when instead of in front of people, you just, if you have to do that thing, then you just go in private and do. No problem. We all do it.
He does it a lot. Right?
Yes, and she does it more, actually. So... So anyway,
Anyway.
All right, we'll stop talking about nonsense. I'm just inviting death. So the restlessness or fickleness of the mind, manovega, is controlled when one can fix his mind on the lotus feet of Krishna. The Chaitanya Charitamrita, the Madhya 2231, says, Krishna Surya Samamaya Haya Andhakada Yahan Krishna Tahanahi Mayara Adikada. Krishna is just like the sun, and Maya is just like darkness. If the sun is present, there is no question of darkness. Similarly, if Krishna is present in the mind, there is no possibility of the mind's being agitated by Maya's influence. The yogic process of negating all material thoughts will not help. You're not able to do it. This isn't the way to beat Maya. To try to create a vacuum in the mind is artificial. The vacuum will not remain. However, if one always thinks of Krishna and how to serve Krishna best, one's mind will naturally be controlled. And you see by actually taking to the processes of bhakti, beginning bhakti sadhanas, bhajana kriya, you see that, oh my gosh, I don't even have time to do that much maya. Even if I want to do so much maya, with all the bhakti processes, if I'm trying to follow them, and even following Prabhupada's program, from morning to evening, you won't have that much time in maya. It's so if you're looking how to get out of maya, just get some bhakti sadhanas in your life, and you'll make some serious advancement. So, similarly, anger can be controlled. We cannot stop anger altogether, but if we simply become angry with those who blaspheme the Lord or the devotees of the Lord, we control our anger in Krishna consciousness. See, we have all these facilities. We have the tongue, we have the belly, we have the genitals, we have the mind, we have anger. All of these things are natural to the conditioned living entity. And the goal isn't like, okay, I can never be angry, never be angry, never be angry. And you're artificially, even though, someone does something to me, like, that urge is there and I artificially repress it. Like, it's okay. Like, say someone elects someone you don't like and you're like, it's okay. Like a lot of America is doing that. Or the opposite happened last time. Doesn't, but this is artificial repression. We should actually use anger. A good example is Hanuman. Hanuman got angry. Hanuman was glorified for his anger. But what did he do? He got angry against those who were blaspheming the devotees, ultimately Ravana. He used his anger in that way.
But I've heard we're not at that level.
What's that?
I've heard we're not at that
Well,
level.
we're obviously not at
To know-
Hanuman's level.
To know, who's proper to use anger on, these kinds of things, That just-
Yeah, well, there's Kashik, no. Put that one back. Thank you.
That's for RT.
That's for Arti. Yes.
There's some over here you can take home.
Yes. I mean, we should try not to be unnecessarily angry, but ultimately, if we know that there's an offense against the devotees, if there's an offense against Krishna, someone's blaspheming the devotees or blaspheming Krishna, and it's very clear to us, this is actually a good facility to use our anger. We should stop this thing, or at the very least, share that we disapprove of the activity and walk away. So this is actually a healthy way to use anger. So if you're angry, you can use your anger in this way, to share disapproval of when blasphemy of the devotees and blasphemy of Krishna is happening. So, let's see. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became angry with the miscreant brothers Jagai and Madhai, who blasphemed and struck Nityananda Prabhu. In his Shikshashtaka, Lord Chaitanya wrote, Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna. One should be humbler than the grass, and more tolerant than the tree. One may then ask, why the Lord had exhibited his anger? The point is that one should be ready to tolerate all insults to one's own self. This is the trick. All insults to one's own self. But when Krishna or his pure devotee is blasphemed, a genuine devotee becomes angry and acts like fire against the offenders. So if somebody gives you a hard time, no problem. If somebody gives Parth or Ben or one of these, genuine spiritual devotees, or even says things that are very offensive to Krishna, like I don't know if you remember, Piyush, I got really angry the one day about a certain person. Remember Mr. Rajneesh. So anyway, why was I angry? Because I know how much this person actually does blasphemy of the devotees. And I've heard it before, and I'm just like, oh my God, I cannot believe. So like this. So this is, this is how we control our anger. We should use our anger for blasphemy of Krishna and his devotees. So, this is, and a lot of times you might see, like, if you see Prabhupada in his dealings, guru itself means heavy. That's what guru means. Everyone thinks, well, I want a really sweet guru. I want a guru who's going to tickle my false ego make sure that I'm, I'm pampered nicely, and he's so sweet to me, and things like that. Yes, there's the guru is the most sweet as well, but guru itself actually means heavy. The guru, if you're actually getting the mercy of the guru, he's going to get really heavy with you. He'll actually also even get angry with you. Why? Because what you're doing, our activities oftentimes, because our conditioning is to go against Krishna's desires and wishes and try and exploit Krishna's material world and like this. So naturally, somebody who is interested in serving Krishna will not like that you are doing like that. And he'll chastise you. And that's good, actually. That's what we all want and need in our life. Actually, you don't get... that's how the devotee makes progress, is the guru is heavy with them and puts some weight on them to actually be better and to do more and actually shift the consciousness towards Krishna's service and away from the conditioned nature of trying to exploit and enjoy the material world. So if you have a senior devotee or a guru who is getting a little heavy with you, you should be happy, you should rejoice. You've all, maybe, I'll tell a pastime of Srila Prabhupada because we're going to celebrate his appearance day. What's that? Yes, and then we'll do appreciation soon. So a pastime of Srila Prabhupada is, Srila Prabhupada had thousands of devotees doing service all over the world. And there was 4 devotees in a car. And they all had a project for Srila Prabhupada, something to do with temple management and so many things. And 3 of the devotees really messed up their service. So for 3 of the devotees, Prabhupada chastised each of them. Heavy, 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 heavy. And then the devotees were like, realized the error of their ways, and then they changed how they did their seva. But one person in the car actually did his seva properly. He actually did everything how he was supposed to. And Prabhupada said to him, and he said, and you, very good. But you missed out on the opportunity of being chastised by your spiritual master. So this is actually great fortune. If you have a guru able to give you hard and heavy instructions, even anger towards your inevitable blasphemy of Krishna's service, because you will. In the beginning, you don't know how to serve Krishna. Somebody else knows how to serve Krishna better than you. If you want to actually serve Krishna, you have to approach the person who knows how to serve Krishna. Kaushik?
We're busy.
Yes, we're busy. So no phone, right? So anyway, so we, just like, if Holly was sending sweets to Mr. John Prine, and he's diabetic, it's a nice sentiment, and maybe John Prine would have some type of, sympathy with Holly. But, ultimately, he's like, oh, Holly, if Holly gets to know him, John Prine tells her, I'm diabetic, Holly, I need something else. And she'll be like, oh, okay, and then she'll change her activities and how she's trying to serve him. So we should also try and understand how to serve Krishna, and how do you do this? It's through somebody who is more trained in how to serve Krishna, the spiritual master. So we should not try and rely on our own understanding. We should understand our limited position. We are not intimately at the stage where we know how to serve Krishna. We are very intimate in serving Maya. We're great at it. We've been doing it lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. We're all Maya dasas and dasis right now. But this is, if we want to be, like when we get initiated, I took the name Ram Das or Sita Devi Dasi. If we want to actually be a das or a servant of the Supreme Lord, there's a process, and you have to get into it, Like for instance, there's a new president now, and there's an old president too. But if you want to try and serve the president, what's that? And then there'll be another 10 and 50. Actually, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe America won't have any more presidents after this one. You never know. But anything's possible. So, but anyway, there'll always be some leader of nations. They'll rise, they'll fall, they'll move forward. But if you want to try and serve the president, and actually I know a whole host of people have no interest in trying to serve this president. But let's just say you did want to try and serve the president. you know, there might be a blanket way. Maybe he puts out a lot of campaigns to send money. No problem, you could do it that way. But you know, if you want to intimately serve somebody, you got to get in with the crowd. You know, you got to know somebody who's gonna get you in. You know, you have a favorite band or your favorite athlete or things like that. You know, even like Holly's going to meet Mr. John Prine's brother. She knew somebody how to get in with John Prine's brother.
It's just a cat.
Yeah, whatever. It's just, you know, just for the sake of understanding. So we have to do that. So how do we get into service to Krishna? Srila Prabhupada is our ticket in. And he's actually all of our Shiksha Guru. We can all take potent Shiksha instructions. Srila Prabhupada has many, many Shishyas or disciples all over the world who have actually been guiding us on how to run this project, multiple, from our Diksha Guru, Shamik Rishi, to Bhagavad Ashraya Prabhu. We have Kalakanta Prabhu. We have many different well-wishers in this movement, all disciples of Srila Prabhupada, who are, and even many, many more, who are trying to instruct us to keep going on this, keep trying to share Krishna consciousness with the local population. This is what Prabhupada wants. This is what we need. So ultimately, we're trying to do the service. All success is sheerly empowered by their service and Srila Prabhupada's service, and we're just trying to, you know, be the puppets and let them pull our strings. But there's a program, and Prabhupada's program is perfect. We're trying our best to follow that program here, and we're trying to give you the opportunity if you want to join the program. There's a facility for everyone. Maybe some of you can come once a week, maybe twice a week, maybe some of you can come every day. Some of you are living here, and so on. There's a way to follow Prabhupada's program, and he can be all of our Shiksha Guru from wherever we're at in life, no problem. There's a place where we can all take to this onto this intimate path of service unto Krishna, and it evolves. It's gradual. It's a gradual process. Just like when the sun is rising, you know, maybe someone can shine a flashlight on you, and you're like, you know, if you're in complete darkness, someone flips on the lights, you're like, ooh. But how does the sun rise? It's a gradual process. It starts about 45 minutes before the sky starts changing, and it slowly transitions from darkness to light. So in your life as well, the knowledge of the Bhagavad, your knowledge on how to serve Krishna will slowly transition and transform you. And you'll be more and more immersed in the light of Krishna consciousness, the light of the Bhagavad. So slowly transition, don't rush, but at the same time, keep the progress moving forward. We're trying to let the sun rise in our life and follow the process, and it works. So I've shared yesterday and today some of my glorifications of Srila Prabhupada. Maybe I'll let my wife share anything before we do Damodar Astakam and end tonight. Well, you can share first, and then someone else can share. Well, I bet.
Anyone have anything they want to share off the top of their head about Srila Prabhupada? Parth looks like he does. You're looking down. I don't know. Are you meditating on it? You want to? You're not ready yet. I'm not ready yet.
I guess I'll end here for the Nectar instruction. Okay, say
just
whatever
tell
you'd
me.
like.